Oh, this is so exciting. I can hardly wait. If you remember last time we implemented a state machine. It lists the beginnings of a state machine. And today I'm hopeful, I'm oh so hopeful that we're going to get to see the fruit of our so difficult labor from last time. Let's get started, shall we? Alright, so here's what we're going to do. Let's grab all of the stuff for this sprite from test.lewiscene, which currently runs, if you remember. We haven't integrated our state machine into anything yet, but let's do so. Let's create a new file. Let's call it player.lua. And in doing so, let's create a player class, because that's the way we roll here. Player. And we're also going to want to require our state machine. State machine. Because we're going to use it here, right? We're going to run return p because that's the way we do it with modules. We'll do a function p new, and we'll say end, and we'll do a function. We'll need also a function p.update, like we always do, because we're gonna be able to add this into a scene, so it's sort of an entity of sorts. We'll do a draw function, and we'll end that. So what we're gonna do, we need to transfer. Let's scrunch the views up and get rid of this. So we're going to grab all of this stuff that has to do with the sprite. We're going to put it in our player. So all of this is definitely local, so any player object should be able to refer to these same animations. So let's add these here. Indeed, the sound should also be local, because all of any sort of duplicate players, which we really won't have that, but in any case, we can do that. We can just refer to it as local. We can also get rid of this, because we won't require any of these, but we will need them here. And instead of these, we will need to require here in this scene our player class. And the scene is buried in that scenes directory, so we'll do a .. and we'll say require player, and that should hopefully work. We'll want the hero atlas also, and that will also be a local object, a local variable, along with sound, and these are our animation data. So we'll do very similar things here. We'll say the hero atlas. We'll grab these, and we'll say the following. Instead of just saying boom new, let's just for good practice, we'll say if hero atlas equals nil, then let's create a hero atlas. So if we ever wanted to do multiple players, we wouldn't just keep recreating this over and over. We'll do the same thing with sound too. If sound equals nil, then we'll create that sound here. So we've got this new function, and we've removed that from our test.lua, as you can see. Some other things we're going to need to do, and that is right here. We're going to need to create a sprite. So we can do that right down here, and we'll do self.sprite, SPR, like we did here. Oops. Click the wrong button there. Okay. Self.sprite. And we'll add these also down here to the bottom. And we'll do this, and we'll do a little fancy feast feature like that. We'll say self.dot right there. Beautiful. And here, instead of our sprite, we'll say self.p equals player. And actually our player is going to take a state that he's going to be in, and that state for us is going to be called, we'll call it idle, and then we'll add our player here. And we'll remove all this stuff here in a minute. So when we update, we want to update the sprite, and we also want to draw the sprite. Draw. Okay, we're gonna want a few things. We're gonna want actually we don't really have them, so that's good. We don't have them. We will, let's go ahead and create an idle function. If you remember last time, we kind of blocked that out. We had these two different methods that we thought about, and I like this one better because even though it's more functions, it just feels like less to type even so. So let's do, let's give idle an enter function, and in that function, since we have, let's tell our sprite to animate idle. So that's what we'll do when we enter that function. Then in the idle main idle piece, we'll do things like if key down space, then we'll say self change punch. So we'll go to the punch state, right? Let's just make a punch state real quick. Function. Oh, and we need to do forgot my P, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, I copied these, of course. Function P colon punch. So this state, yes, let's make an enter for this state also. Enter. And we'll stick DT in here. And you know, we don't really, I don't think you need to, if you really don't want that in there, you don't have to put it in. You can still put it in the parameters. It won't make an error or anything. In any case, let's do that like we're doing it. So on the enter, let's do the following, which is right here. The enter function will do the following. And remember, it will only get called once because of the way that we have our state machine set up here, at least. That's what we're hoping, assuming that we don't have any bugs. But I'm sure we'll have some bugs because bugs are fun, right? So we'll have this punch. And then we'll have the plain old punch. And that plain old punch will do a self dot change to idle. Right? No, I'm sorry. We'll say here, if the sprite animation finished, we want to see if that is finished, then we'll change to idle. We want to make sure that we stay in this sprite, or this punch phase, this punch state, until the punch animation is finished. So then we can get rid of this, and we'll keep this key quit for escape. If key down is space is punch, we can get rid of this. And instead of else if, this will be if. Save it, run it, and watch the errors roll in. Attempt to index a local entity, an entity manager, which is in function add, which is entity manager, enter, switch, and that's probably right here. Yes, I forgot, sorry. Self.p, since that is part of our table. Hey, what do you know? There he is. And he is currently looping as he should, and that's something that I forgot about, which is we did say true to that jump. We said that we wanted that to loop, and we can have the true there, but if we don't have the true, if I remember correctly, that animation, that animate that we have there is gonna, or the animation is gonna be, let's check it. I'll show you what I mean. Animation.lua. So loop, we have loop equals nil or loop. So if it's nil, it's gonna be true. So we really don't need this here. So all of these animations are looping. So let me just reload it real quick. So it looks like he's working, at least in his idle state. Let's hit punch and see what happens. Or the space bar, sorry. So that looks like that's not quite working. So let's turn on debug mode. And I'm thinking that we should go into the state machine here. And let's print out some debug information. Let's print self.previous, and actually we should say if self.previous is not equal to nil, then do this. Print self.previous, and then we'll print self.state. Let's say current, and then let's say oops. Actually, we don't even need this, whether we're doing the self.transition. Yeah. Let's see what happens here. Let's see if we're even, I may have something incorrect here. It's very possible. End expected. Of course end is expected. I mean, you know, this is Lua. We're supposed to end things, right? Okay. I'm not getting anything as far as input, which means I need to go. Let's see if this is even getting called here. Up for update. And it is not getting called. So that's good. That's good to news. But why isn't that getting called? That should get called, right? We're doing it correctly there, and as far as the player is concerned, I believe we're doing function, PM, update, DT, draw. That looks good to me. Yeah, we're creating the new player, we're setting him up, adding him to the entity manager over here. We're getting nothing. Let me do a print here just to make sure we're coming in through here. And I'll bring this over here. You can see, okay, we are coming in through this. I'm thinking, ladies and gentlemen. I'm thinking. I try not to bore you, but okay. So SM update. Oh, so that's in our play. That's okay. Okay. All right. So maybe we have found what we need, because we probably need to do. Yes, we do. We need to call that super, of course. Self.super update. And we'll do self here. .dt or comma dt. That's what's going on there, ladies and gentlemen. And since we don't have any draw, we don't really need to do the draw here. Ah, and that's not update, it's update. Sorry. It's a language barrier, right? There he is. And oh yeah. I'm getting, whoops, sorry. I'll show you what I'm getting now. He's actually getting, we're getting that called. That's great. So we're in the state machine here. Now I think there's probably something else going on with this new, because that's something else we forgot to do here in the new for our player, and that is we need to do a probably go ahead and do it down here. We'll do self.super.new, and we'll pass ourselves in and then that new state. That way when we come in here, new, we'll do self reset, self change. Let's watch the magic happen, or the errors, whichever one. Boom. So player 34 attempt to index a global sprite. 34. Oh yes, of course. So that's good. Okay. Self.sprite. So we had several things that were kind of messed up. All this translation and moving things is kind of okay. Can't find punch as a state function. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there, ladies and gents. But I don't. Right here, can't find state punch. Space. State punch. Change immediate. Change. So why wouldn't that be working? Because we do have we have a punch? We do have a punch, don't we? Punch. Right here. He sees idle, doesn't he? Oh. Self dot. Oh, I've made so many errors here, right? Selecting with the mouse is just so irritating sometimes. Self.previous and self.previous. Hello. Hello. We got any more of those errors? That's fine. Actually, that's correct. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Let's see what happens now. I'll hit the space bar and we'll do the same. It does the same. Okay. And that's still in state machine 27. Let's take that out just to make sure that I didn't do that wrong. Nope, it's really saying that it can't find that. Can't find it as a function. That is most unfortunate, ladies and gentlemen. If state is self previous and change immediate state. What did it say again? What can it not find as a function? It was punch, right? It cannot find punch as a state function. We must be doing something wrong. So let's go back in here and check it. Okay. So all we're doing is self. Where's our changes? Self. Oh, that's another thing. We don't need this. Sorry about that. We're not going to be calling that, since we're enclosing that. We're encapsulating that in derived, so it doesn't have to have it. But we're still having this problem here. Can't find state punch as a state function. And of course, it's staring me in the face right here, ladies and gentlemen. We don't want class.derive. We've got, oh boy, that should go away. And we want state machine here. At least, in the very least, we need to fix that. That's because that wasn't good. And there lies the problem. I didn't make it a member of the module. Of course it can't find it. And there we are. So, as you can see, we're here. And we're stuck, of course, which should change back to idle. Not self.previous, self.state. Is that the problem? That's the problem. Sorry. Another bug. Chalk it up to me, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. And you can see we're doing it correctly now. Okay. That is looking great. I'm going to turn this chunk of code off. It's funny I say I'm turning it off. I'm really commenting it out. And so let's continue. Let's see. What kind of time are we looking at? 25 minutes. Okay. Or 20 minutes, whatever it is. Let's do a walk. Do a walk real quick. So with a walk, let's add a self dot x velocity. We'll call it self vx for now. We'll expand on that. Probably expand on that later. We got to punch enter, a punch, and then we'll need a function p dot walk enter. And what the walk enter will do is it'll say self right animate walk. And I believe that's all it will do. So remember, these functions get called once. The enter and the exit functions get called once, and then it transitions into the next piece. At least that's the way it's supposed to work. Perhaps we should check that real quick too. Actually, that should be fine. Yeah, we'll leave that. That's fine. Let's do this. Print. Punch, enter. And then we'll print punch. Actually, no. Punch, enter should be enough. We should only see that get called once, just to verify that our punch, enter is correct. Yep, just once. And it gets called once again. Okay, cool. That looks like that works. We don't have anything with exit yet, but we'll have to check that out when we get the exit stuff, if we need any exit stuff for this particular character. So let's do also a function e colon walk. All right. So what we'll do here is we will check, say if, oh, and we probably need, do we have the keyboard? Or do we need the keyboard to be, no, I guess we don't. It's a global. It's a global. The keyboard is a global. So if key, let's say key, if it's down, if the left key is down, and the right key is not down, right? If so, and the right key is not down, and velocity of x, the velocity x is not equal to -1, then we need to say self.sprite. We need to flip him, horizontal flip. So that's flip underscore h, true, and then vx equals -1. And then we can say else if, let's say not, if the left button or the left direction is not pressed and the right direction is not pressed, then let's set the x velocity equal 0. And then let's change. So if we're not pushing either one of those keys, then we probably should change. Else if key down space. So we want to be able to change to the punch from here also. And we'll do that. We'll set the velocity to 0 so he'll stop to punch. Self, change, punch. And I'm getting ahead of myself, aren't I? I'm not, this whole self thing, I tell you what. And we need a then. And we will later come along and say else if, say key down, up, then we'd say self.change to the jump state, which we don't have at this point in time. So we'll comment that out, but we'll put that in later. One of the things that we'll need to do is we'll need this also for our right key. You know what I mean, ladies and gentlemen? We'll need to do this for the key right, not key left, and velocity is velocity x naught 1, and we'll say false here. Now, did I do that right? Oh, and actually, and I didn't. End expected at function at line 55, so I've got an end somewhere that else if then. Oh, right here. That's an else if. The walk should also be able to be entered from idle. So here, do else if here. Else if. So if key, and in this case, we'll just do key down because we can. Left or key down right. Then change the state to walk. Let's see, do we get any errors? No. Let's try to walk. Okay, let go. He comes back the other way, comes back, punch the other way, punch the right way. Okay. Now, for our last trick, let's make the little fella actually move to the left and to the right. And that would be, we could say self sprite, and they have a position, and we want to modify the x portion of that position is equal to, I didn't mean a colon here, I meant a dot. And we'll say plus the velocity, the self dot vx times whatever our speed is. Let's make it 115. And then we'll multiply that times delta time. So it's 115 pixels per second. And let's see what that does. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. And if I press the other one, he's going to continue. But if I let go of either one, they'll stop. And if I punch, okay, he's punching, but I want him to be able to, when I hit space, okay. So then what I want to be able to do here then is I want to say end. So if I wanted to be able to punch when he's moving and then have that change the state, we would do this. Now let's see if my change is good. Walk left and right. Punch. Yeah. And instead of key down on idle, we really want key for this. That way our keys can remain pushed, and when we hit space, he'll punch and then continue to walk if we have that key held down. I think that's going to be a great place to end it. We've got a little state machine going on, and cool, it's working pretty well. I'll see you guys next time.